TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, Erev Tov, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. International pressure is mounting on Jerusalem to alter course vis-à-vis the Gaza Strip. Australia insists the only way to achieve security for both Israelis and Palestinians is through the implementation of a two-state solution. Norway's Norges Bank Investment Management announces that the world's largest fund is in the process of divesting from Israeli companies. International pressure is mounting on Jerusalem to alter course vis-à-vis the Gaza Strip, with a growing number of nations pledging consequences to the Israeli Security Council's plan to root out the final pockets of the Islamist Hamas from Gaza City and the central camps of the Palestinian enclave. Among others, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has pledged to join France, Britain, and Canada in recognizing a Palestinian state, while further accusing the Prime Minister of Israel, namely Benjamin Netanyahu, of being in denial due to the fact that he refuses to accept the narrative that is globally promoted by the Islamist Hamas and its backers.
Yes, the decisions of the Netanyahu government, firstly the stopping of aid that we've seen, and then the loss of life that we're seeing around those aid distribution points, where people queuing for food and water, losing their lives, it is just completely unacceptable. And we have said that. I spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu. He again reiterated to me what he has said publicly as well, which is to be in denial about the consequences that are occurring for innocent people. The violence has gone on since 2023, since October 7. And the Netanyahu government strategy is just to keep going, just to keep doing more of the same, to occupy Gaza City. It's already occupying vast parts of Gaza. It's supporting an increase in settlements on the West Bank. It is engaging in settler violence supported by Israeli authorities on the West Bank. We're seeing more of the same. What we need to do is to do something different. The international community are saying that. We want peace and security for both Israelis and Palestinians.
In line with a wish list of Western nations, the Australian Prime Minister insisted that the only path to stabilizing the Middle East is by forcing an end to the Hamas-instigated conflict and to force upon Israel and the Palestinians a two-state solution, irrespective of reality on the ground.
There has been too many innocent lives lost, both Israelis and Palestinians, and the world is saying we need a solution to this conflict. We need to end the cycle of violence, and the way to do that is to have a two-state solution with a demilitarised Palestinian state, where Hamas, of course, have no role to play in that, and a secure Israel as a state which is recognised by the states around it.
Meanwhile, in Jerusalem, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated his unwavering determination to secure the future of the State of Israel for generations.
A
day after the massacre of October 7th, I said, "We will change the face of the Middle East." This is exactly what we are doing together. We broke the Iranian axis. In Lebanon, Hezbollah was defeated, and the new government is working to disarm it. In Syria, Assad has fallen. We seized the crown of Mount Hermon. We are working to demilitarize the area across the border, and we are protecting our Druze brothers from slaughter. In Iran, we have thwarted two existential threats: the existential nuclear threat, and the existential ballistic missile threat. This is a historic achievement, an achievement that they are trying to obscure, as if saving the lives of 10 million citizens and saving the lives of the State of Israel for generations, securing our future for generations.
Amid mounting international pressure aimed at thwarting Jerusalem's adopted plan moving forward against the Islamist Hamas in the Gaza Strip, Prime Minister Netanyahu highlighted that all of Israel's achievements since October 7th of 2023 to date have been realized despite the enormous pressure from both domestic and international actors.
I'll tell you something simple. All of this was done despite the enormous pressures from home and abroad. Pressure to stop the war, pressure even before they entered Rafah. If I had given in to these pressures, Sinwar and Haniyeh would still be in control of Gaza, Nasrallah in Lebanon, Assad in Syria, and Iran today would be racing towards nuclear weapons and the production of 20,000 ballistic missiles. Both of these things endanger our existence.
Emphasizing Israel's acceptance to bring about a negotiated solution, Prime Minister Netanyahu underscored that Hamas continued to refuse any type of deal that does not include Israel's complete capitulation.
After months of fruitless negotiations, it became clear for certain that Hamas simply was not interested in a deal. Hamas stuck to its refusal. It raised impossible conditions, not only in our opinion, but also in the opinion of the United States. What are these conditions? They include, among other things, a complete withdrawal from the Gaza Strip, including from the Philadelphia corridor, which would allow the free smuggling of weapons, the liberation of the Nukba terrorists, these monsters, a demand for binding international guarantees which will not allow the IDF to return to fighting. These are conditions of surrender that no responsible government would agree to accept. Of course, I would not agree to accept them.
Meanwhile, in Berlin, German government deputy spokesman Stefan Mayer insisted that while a decision was made by Chancellor Friedrich Merz to end arms exports that are earmarked for Israel's war against Hamas and its terror affiliates in the Gaza Strip, Berlin's Israel policy has not altered.
It was decided that, under the current circumstances, the German government will not authorize the export of military equipment for use in the Gaza Strip until further notice. At the same time, the Chancellor also pointed out very clearly yesterday that this by no means represents a fundamental change in the principles of Germany's Israel policy. Of course, Israel remains not only an important partner for us, but the protection of the State of Israel, in particular, is a matter of German state policy. The Chancellor continues to engage in dialogue with the government on this matter. I am not aware of any consequences you have suggested or further steps at this time.
Meanwhile, in Norway, the Norges Bank Investment Management Chief Executive Officer announced that they have started divesting from Israeli companies. Nikolai Tangen, who heads Norway's 2 trillion sovereign wealth fund, said the divestment includes 11 Israeli companies out of 61, which are not included in an equity benchmark index created by Norway's finance ministry.
The company Bet Shemesh is among the companies that have been sold. It is important to clarify that these companies have not been sold on the recommendation of the Ethics Council.
The fund's CEO continued by highlighting that the fact that the remaining companies may be included in the Norwegian Finance Ministry's Equity Benchmark Index does not necessarily mean they are immune to divestment.
That they are part of the indexes is not a quality seal or doesn't mean that they have lower risk, and we expect to sell ourselves out of more companies. We are self-critical on this and see that in this special situation, when it comes to a country that is at war, we should have taken control back, so we should have terminated those relationships earlier. So it is something we are addressing, as we have said before.
It is important to know that the divestments from Israeli companies have taken place despite the fact that Norway's parliament recently rejected a proposal for the fund to divest from all Israeli companies with activities in the so-called West Bank and Gaza Strip. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. While an international outcry for the Gaza Strip is seemingly underway, let us not forget that 50 hostages, to include up to 20 who are believed to be still alive, have now endured 676 days in brutal Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad captivity since October 7th of 2023. Therefore, I would like to encourage you to pray for the hostages, for their speedy release, as well as for their families. Please also pray for the peace of Jerusalem and the salvation of Israel. And separately, if you're blessed by our daily programs, since TV7 Israel is exclusively donation-based, any contribution will help us continue to share the truth here from Jerusalem. You can donate via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. I'm Jonathan Hessen, wishing you an Erev Mevorach, and God willing, we will see you during our next update. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.